know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I don't want to lay back like that. Yeah, I know that.
Word to me.
See,
I do my best
I have to
teachings and
wait.
speakings right
Let
here.
me take this. It's a process. It's step by step.
You're not comfortable yet, huh?
No.
Man, what?
I'm comfortable in talking and stuff, you know, but I never.
A few moments later.
Well, get you comfortable and just relax.
Yeah, yeah.
Put your fits up. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Mr. Mo.
And I'm Pops.
Thank you, Father. Get Pop. Come on. And we're back for another episode. First of all, I want to ask you, how's your day going so far?
It's going great. It's been a good day. Been a good day.
That's it?
That's it. Been a great day.
Well, my day was good. I got a chance to spend time with my wife. You know what I'm saying? And watch her float around the house and look vivacious.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you just say to yourself, man, I did good.
Yeah.
Thank you,
God. So with God, they did good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Took me to follow the instructions.
Yeah.
Hard-headed dude I was. But we are back for another installment. I hope y'all enjoyed the last one. Me talking about how Pop has been my foundation, my pillar. You got to have one of those or two of those, three of those, four of those in your life. Somebody that's going to hold you accountable. Somebody that is going to help you through this process. We as men, we do not ask for help. We don't look for help. At some point, men, we have to stop trying to figure out things on our own.
We heard in silence.
Uh-oh. See, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah,
right
we
there.
heard in silence. So, and many times we don't ask for help. And I used to be that way.
Mm.
We don't ask for help because we feel like people would say, well, you don't know that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how to deal with that?
It's like shaming us.
Yeah. You at your age, you ought to know.
Yeah.
You know, so we tend not to do that. And then if it's not modeled for us by our father to encourage us to talk, because, you know, a lot of time I've talked to young people who say, well, I tell my mama everything. No, you don't.
Nah, you don't.
Tell her everything.
You tell her just
you
enough.
Probably tell her a lot, but there's some things we just not going to discuss like that.
Right.
You know, we'll discuss it with a friend before we will our parent.
Okay, so that's a whole nother podcast, and we're going to deal with a lot of men, basically suffering in silence because we do it so well. We're professionals at it now, and it's something that's been passed on. But we're going to deal with that. Yeah. I want to. Last podcast, as we were discussing some things, I want to talk about you. This is the introduction to Pop. I believe that in life, you don't know where a man is until you've heard or seen where he's been. Mm-hmm. So I want to hear from you. You've helped a lot of men, a lot of men out of some dark and difficult spaces. Now I want to hear from you, from difficult things that you had to overcome and deal with. And you can start from anywhere in your life. Okay. I know you probably, I was going to do an old joke.
No, don't do that.
I'm not. So
yeah, I've been here a minute.
We've been here, you know, quite a minute.
And I'm grateful.
Thank God.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
So anywhere in your life,
okay,
that you feel comfortable, talking about.
Well, I'll start from where I was born and raised. So I was born and raised in Talbot County,
okay,
Georgia.
Now, during this, I might stop and ask you some questions.
That's fine.
I'm not from here. You know what I'm saying? So certain things you may say, be like, okay, now break down that.
Yeah. Well, that's a very small town.
Okay.
Well, it's not a town, actually. I lived out in the county part. It wasn't a town.
Got you.
So I lived out in the country part, which I must say during my childhood was probably the best time of my life in terms of how I grew up.
Wow. You know, in a small town?
I wasn't in a town. Actually, we had one high school.
How does that work?
We had at the beginning we had two elementary school, one on the north end, one on the south end, and the high school was in the middle.
Got you.
But you know, we had at that time it was all black school.
Wow.
We had not integrated. We didn't integrate it until my senior year in high school in 1971.
Got you.
So, but growing up, I was exposed to whites and all of that. But I remember seeing the signs, whites on it, that kind of stuff. And
let me stop you right there, because a lot of people are impacted by seeing those times, but you were actually in those times. Explain, like, you break that now, because I hear a lot of people like, man, you know something, we were slaves and, you know, we had to deal with this, and they're like 19.
Well, I wasn't no slave, but
like, but for them, you know what I'm saying? you talking about you got Jordans on, you we was oppressed. What are you talking about? No. But you experienced those things that I've only seen on movies.
Yeah. And then I wasn't that far from a little town called Manchester. It was Manchester in the daytime and Winchester at night. Yeah.
Break that down.
That was certain families in that town that the police would not deal with.
Wow.
Because they subject to kill all of them, you know. So it was just that kind of thing. But at this hamburger shop, all the whites would go into the front off the main street.
Got you.
So we had to come into the back. And we couldn't sit in there and eat. We had to order our food and go. You know, they had hamburgers. The food was very good. And they had blacks working in there.
Okay.
And it's like where they were drinking beer and stuff like that.
Okay.
But they had really good hamburgers and stuff like that. So we had a movie theater at one time. And in the movie theater, all of the whites was sitting on the floor, and all blacks had to go to the balcony. Wow. So I remember all of that. And that's why when I finished high school, my mom wanted me to go to Talladega College in Alabama.
What?
Talladega College in Alabama. And I would not go. I had a scholarship to go. And I would not go because George Wallace was the president. The governor at the time.
Gotcha.
And there was a lot of racial stuff going on. So I didn't want to be in all of that, you know, like that. And I think one of the most profound things that happened to me growing up was we had a lady that was moving there across the highway from us.
Okay.
And she came over and asked my mom if her children could play with her children, because she was white, we were black. She said, now, if they can't, then I'm not going to move here. And so we grew up with them.
Wow.
We went to their house. They came to our house. That kind of thing.
Okay.
And so I was exposed to some things that family does that we didn't do. Like they would sit up like on Friday and Saturday night watching movies, eating popcorn and stuff.
As a family.
Yeah. And we didn't do that.
How'd it make you feel?
Like, what's wrong with our family? Why we ain't doing this? Because, it was a season and time that everything that we ate, mostly, we raised it. All of our vegetables. I remember my mother canning collards, corn off the cob. And they was, she would use a pressure cooker to seal it. And so even like during the wintertime that year, you could open up that and you were cooking and it's just like you just got out the garden.
Wow.
And we didn't freeze a whole lot of stuff because we didn't have freezers like that. And then we killed hogs and stuff like that. So
what's going on here?
Yeah, I
you a butcher too?
And I remember having to have to wear overalls to school. Now it's the style.
It is.
But it wasn't the style back then.
I think my wife just bought some too. She just bought some. She bought your style today.
I was that wasn't unheard of to wear that. I mean, it wasn't unheard of, but it was shameful to wear overalls back then because mostly my father wore overalls and wore them to work.
So it was a shame back then if you were
overall.
Why was it a shame?
Because most of the blacks and whites, when you worked on the farms and the cattle farms and all these kinds of things, that's what you wore. That was considered as work clothes.
Not fashion, huh?
Not fashion.
You talk to my wife.
They wasn't fashion back then.
That's crazy.
And see, it was like, I think like six. Yes, it was six of us. Yeah, I think it was six of us. And I only had one sister in the house. I had another sister that lived in Manchester. We have the same father, so we're blood sisters.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we didn't live together. And so my sister could pretty much get whatever she wanted because it was just one girl.
That makes sense.
Boys, we had hand-me-down. And so if I needed shoes really bad, I would get shoes. But nobody else would get new shoes. Unless you just actually have to have. Like kids now come home and play in their clothes, so we couldn't do that. They'll beat the brakes off you for that.
I couldn't do that.
You go to church, wear your church clothes.
Yeah.
You get home, you got to take that off. Put on your playing clothes.
Yeah.
And we had chores to do. I remember getting whoopings for not washing dishes at night.
So I need to be whooping my son if you don't wash dishes.
Yeah. And one of my brothers, he was so dense back then, he didn't want to wash dishes. So he took all the pots and pans and put them in the oven as if my mama didn't have to cook them this morning. Dirty. So when my mom got off at 11 o'clock from the hospital and came home, we woke up with a whipping. When we know the thing, we waking up and she get in that kitchen. So that's why even now, I don't leave home without making my bed.
Wow.
Because of that.
Because you got a whooping.
Well, not only that, we was taught to do that.
Mm-hmm.
When we got ready to leave to go to school, you had to make your bed. You don't leave home without making your bed. And you better not miss that bus.
Jeez. Yeah.
So it was different back then.
Way different.
Plus, my father was an alcoholic. I never brought a girl to the house.
Hey, matter of fact, if you are looking for a great coffee,
try Rise, RYZE.
our Rise coffee is truly amazing. At first, I had a hard time really staying up. I had a difficult time going to sleep. But this new Rise has risen up in my life and has given me new hope. It is a mushroom coffee. This coffee is amazing. You can get it in the chai tea, you can get it in matcha, you can get it in the cocoa. The cocoa will knock you out.
It will if it's for bed.
If you think Mike Tyson hit hard, check out this coffee.
And if you would like 15% off forever, even on your subscriptions, you can type in the made over Insta 15. That is THEMADEOVERINSTA 15 for 15% off your order and your subscriptions.
There you go. Get you some Rise in your life.
Some rising.
Let it change your life.
It will.
Back to our regular scheduled program.
To meet my family. Ever.
Not one.
Not one time.
Why?
Because I knew if my father was there, he was going to be drunk and I was going to be embarrassed.
Gee.
I only had maybe five friends, male friends, that we hung out together. They're the only ones who could come to my house. Or I go to their house. That's because all of our daddies would drink together.
Oh, so they had common ground.
Common ground.
Wow.
And we all had those issues. At least I had more issues than some of them because even though their fathers drank, they did a lot of things with them.
Got you.
I didn't have that. You know, my father didn't. That's why my son played baseball, because when I was growing up, my father always went to baseball games, but he never took me. So I grew up with this idea of what's wrong with me.
Wow.
He must not want folks to know I'm his son. Now, that's me thinking, you know. And so, you know, having my grandparents, my grandfather was a devout Christian. He's the one who taught me how to sing hymns.
Okay.
He's the only person I've ever seen in my life who got up in the morning, sung a song, got down on his knees at his rocking chair, prayed, get back up, sing another song. At nighttime, did the same thing. He did that every single day until he died.
Wow.
Never seen that before. So he taught me how to sing the hymns and stuff like that. Because I used to follow him around at church and stuff, you know. So, you know, my mother was a nurse. My father worked at a factory. And although he had only a fifth grade education, he was the only person that worked at the furniture factory who could operate every single machine. The man that owned the place couldn't run every machine, but my father could.
You said fifth grade.
Fifth grade education.
Wow.
So it's a lot to tell about me growing up.
If I could only... Fifth grade education, have kids. About what age was he when you were born, that you know
of? He was probably... He probably had to been in his late 40s or 50s. Because he was only one after me.
Got you.
So, yeah, I had a brother I had a baby brother. And so it was like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 5 boys and 1 girl. So it was 6 of us. And so everybody was gone ahead of me. Now, my younger brother had died with what we now know as aneurysms. But we didn't know that back then.
How old were you when he died?
I was like, I think I was like in the 7th or 8th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, 7th or 8th grade.
How did that impact you?
The crazy thing is, God would reveal stuff to me back then. I saw my brother dying. It was a year that I can't remember. I think was it 63 or 64 or something like that. It was the first time on that Sunday that he died was the Sunday that they had the first flight to the moon.
Wow.
Yeah. But I was looking at his picture up on the wall, and I was thinking to myself, how would it be if he died? And it wasn't until he passed, because I used to be scared of dead folks. You know, like they used to go to these wakes and see folks at night. I couldn't stand it.
Man.
And then you go home, you dream about these folks.
Still to this day, I don't like them.
Well, I couldn't take it until he died because I touched him. Because he died at home.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And the thing, it exploded in his head. Yeah.
How old was he?
He was like maybe 2 years under me, maybe a year and a half under me or something like that. Yeah. So that's a whole nother story because me and him, you know, back then when it started thundering, and lightning and raining and stuff, they always tell you, go in there and get in the bed. Sit down, be quiet. Yeah. The Lord is talking.
Yeah. My granny used to do that.
He sure is talking loud.
I can't sleep. Nah.
And so we had to but we in there playing. So we was tussling and wrestling and he bumped his head. So apparently he had it, but that bump set it off.
Wow.
And then he started having headaches and stuff like that. You know, and I hated seeing them like that, man. And the sad part is you was in an era where you go to the doctor's office, you had to go in the back to the doctor. You couldn't go through the front.
That's tough time.
And this is the same doctor who helped train my mom, because she did home study, correspondent courses, to get her nursing license. And she was one of few black nurses.
Wow.
And she worked for him.
Okay.
But we yet had to still go in the back door. We couldn't go out front of there. Whites only.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a lot. It was a lot.
That's tough.
And so that's and my father, he blamed me for my brother's death.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I know that. So how did that affect you with him blaming you? Even at the age that you were in?
I became angry about it because we were playing. I wasn't trying to hurt my brother. You know? And he just, it's your fault. It's your fault. That kind of stuff. And I think he was a little bit probably more closer to him because he looked more like him.
Oh, okay.
Complexion and all, I looked at more like my mom. So, and, they always say I was the 7th child. And they always said that the 7th child, I don't know why they said it, but they always said the 7th child was different than all of the other children. And I was different from all of my other siblings.
Wow.
All of them. I was going to church and stuff, and most of them wasn't. They was in the streets and stuff. That kind of thing. So, and I never was a street person. I don't know the streets like that.
Wow.
I don't know nothing about the streets like that. although when I was in high school, we used to go to the club and stuff like that, but I didn't really know nothing like that. Plus, we was in a rural area because I think I was an adult when I first started hearing about marijuana, and I was in Columbus then.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So we didn't hear. All we knew about was wine coolers and Boone's Farm and all that kind of stuff. And corn liquor.
Speaking language I have no idea about right here.
Got battery acid in it and all this kind of stuff.
Wow.
But that's the kind of life that I live. I don't regret the life because that's why things don't move me. Like having all these things doesn't move me.
Got you.
I was really good and grown before I actually bought a brand new TV. Because every other TV I had, somebody had given it to me.
Got you.
So I wasn't into things. I didn't have to have stuff. I was never like that, I wanted nice clothes and stuff, but
got you.
I never was, into got to buy things. That's why I don't go to the mall and stuff like that.
Did you want those things and you would just settle?
Not really, because I was satisfied. I was okay with what.
So you was content, I was
okay.
Content. Okay.
Yeah, I was content. So I didn't stress over that kind of stuff, But everybody else even saw me different, even when I was growing up in the church. And for years, people kept saying, "You gonna be a preacher? You gonna be a preacher?" I said, "No, I'm not gonna be no preacher."
Come against that.
I said, "Me and God don't have a conversation about this. I am doing too much stuff to be a preacher." Now, I would sit in the audience on the side over there, what they call the amen corner.
Yeah, of course.
And I can hear the preacher read a scripture, and I can say what the subject is before he even announced it.
Do you still do that?
No, I don't do that now. But I didn't have much stuff on my head back then.
Got you.
But I could see stuff like that. And then, I always kind of wanted to preach, but see, I wanted to preach and then come back and just be a regular member. I didn't want that responsibility.
Yeah.
Because I never have taken that lightly. Because, we're responsible for folks when you're in that position.
You are.
And you what you say and come out of your mouth, God gonna hold you to that.
Yeah.
So but that's the kind of life I was raised with. We weren't allowed to go to a lot of stuff. We mostly stayed at home. We couldn't even play regular cards. We had to play what do you call them old folk cards? Them what do they call them? I can't think of the name of them. Old maids.
Oh wow.
That was against that's the devil.
Y'all couldn't play.
We sneak and play, but we couldn't play. I learned how to play spades.
Well, y'all was on a strict thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But it was a strict time because of the kind of life we had to live. I know when I ran for office in Talbot County.
Time out.
Clerk of Superior
Time
Court.
out. Let me stop right. You ran for office?
Yeah.
Hey, we are getting to know who Pop is. Keep going. You ran for office?
Yeah, I ran for Clerk of Superior Court. I ran against 5 other Caucasian brothers and sisters. One sister, rest of them brothers, and I was on the black.
Wow.
And I think I did pretty good. I had a runoff with me and the white female.
Okay.
So I think I did pretty good, but to let my people tell me, well, you know, they didn't know you enough. Well, they must have known me a lot because I beat out all these other folks, you know. So
it'd be young people sometimes
you
too.
know, well, see, because a lot of people didn't know me because I volunteered a lot in my community. I volunteered a lot at the school.
So you're active.
I used to substitute teaching at the school. I used to drive the school bus. I've done Boy Scouts troops, and we've been top-notch troops. I've gotten awards for having, like, we would take, me and one other person would take 40-some boys to the wood, and we'd have no problem.
Wow.
Because they knew there was nobody else who was going to do that. So
they knew your name?
Oh, people knew me.
Yeah.
People knew me.
Doing all that, you have no choice.
That was just trying to appease me. So I was like a friend of mine who just said, okay then, okay.
Right.
Okay. You know, but I, you know, said I wasn't married. What being married got to do with being clerk of the Superior Court? Ain't nothing but a secretary job.
That's all it is.
Come on now. So that's the kind of thing that, you know, I dealt with. So I've done a lot of things. I've been exposed to a lot of things at an early age, you know. So I've been exposed to a lot of people in positions and things like that. I've never been scared or afraid to talk to people who, you know, because I've always felt like I can hold a conversation with anybody.
And can. I've seen you in public.
Yeah. So
start conversation and end conversation.
So that's never been a problem of mine, you know. So I lived a good life, man, and
it's amazing you call that a good life. Like some people
was.
when they hear that, as far as like being raised in those times where you had to go through the back door, people don't see that as a good time. Like you losing your brother, like, and then your dad blaming you as if you purposely did this.
And then I'm the last child left at home that got to deal with all of that with him there, you know.
And so, I can only imagine, like, did y'all have a relationship before then, or was
we never really had a relationship?
So so y'all
that's what I was saying earlier. See, it's like when my father used to go to baseball games.
Yeah.
But he never took me. See, he never really done. He never shown me how to. See, at an early age of mine, we used to ride in the car with my dad, but he would be drunk, and my mama would just have a fit when she found out. But we didn't know.
Right.
At that time, we just glad to be with dad.
Right.
You know. And so, you know, we would go with him. But he never took me fishing. He never sit down and talk to me about life. But in my older years, I realized my father didn't have no father himself. He wasn't taught what to do.
I got you. Yeah.
See, and what a lot of people don't realize, even people that know us, see, I don't have any uncles or aunts because my mother was the only child. My dad didn't really know who his folks were. We happened to find them, but not because he told us, because he didn't know. And actually, he changed his name. See, my name actually wasn't supposed to be Ellison. It was supposed to have been Vale. But
Bell.
back then, when you
hold on, that got a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Mike Bell.
Like that. That's where I was at. Where your folks at? Where you come from?
Might be kin folks.
But yeah. So it's a lie happened, and because he took on the name of somebody else when he came up to the area where we were living at, and him and my mom, got married and stuff like that. So I didn't know all this stuff until later years.
Time out. So he took on the name of somebody else, right? So
because we were calling the guy uncle. Because he was saying that was his god brother. So we were calling him uncle and his wife aunt.
Wow. This is some stuff.
Yeah. Because see, back then, when you go into the military, whatever name you go in, that was official.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't ask, most of them probably didn't know what their birth certificate were back then.
Gotcha. Did you want a relationship with your dad?
I did. I wanted one with my older brother, but the one that was near me. That was even later years, maybe 10 years ago I wanted that. Even at one point I tried to get my family together for Thanksgiving and stuff, but it was too much work.
Wow.
So I had one of my sister-in-laws tell me, said, well, Mike, just tell them what you want them to bring. They'll bring it. And I did. I said, but that ain't the way I wanted it. I wanted us to come together and decide what we're going to do and how we're going to. I didn't want to run it.
Gotcha.
I wanted us to be a family together. So after that one time, I didn't do that no more. I learned my lesson real quick. Real quick. So,
So who was the actual father figure in your life then? If your father didn't give you father like type advice, you said y'all it just sounded like you was just there for the most part.
He gave me advice indirectly.
Explain that one.
I knew not to drink.
So you whatever made I got you.
He would fight my mom. They would get in a fight. And when I would be old enough, I had to manhandle him because I didn't want to see that. You're not gonna do that in my face. So I hate I had to do that, but I ain't gonna just stand there and let you beat my mom now. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And even if it had been my mom doing that, I'd have to stop her because I had to tell her, stop talking so much. See, when people are drunk, nothing you say gonna make sense to them.
Doesn't.
Other than, here's another drink.
Yeah, right.
You can't tell them to stop what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll go out there to do something to get up on the ladder. Don't get up on that ladder. You gonna fall. He'll find out in a minute. Just be quiet.
Trust.
Just be quiet.
Experience is a teacher.
Yes. A real good one, too. You don't have to say it, but do it for one time.
Trust.
But that's just the kind of life it was. But I never have went without. Always had food. Always had clothes. Electricity always was on. See, I never experienced that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
We always had what we needed. Food-wise, all that.
So great provider.
Oh, yeah. Well, my mom was.
Gotcha.
See, I had to help my dad to be a good provider. So when my mom was working a regular shift at the hospital, she would do what they call private duty, where she go work for somebody who's sick, maybe in a home or something like that, in their personal home. And so she'll work another whole shift for them. So when time to go get groceries, I would go with him to get the groceries. But then I would manipulate him. What you want, Daddy? Whatever you want, baby. So, all right, that's all I need to know. Because see, what was going to happen was if he had kept the money, he was going to be out drunk somewhere and somebody was going to clip him. Take the money from him.
Got you.
So we going to have groceries. So he told my mom, that boy tried to spend on. And then my mom wanted to try to chastise. I said, Mom, if I don't get it, somebody else going to get it.
That is facts.
No, we don't have to have food. We got to have stuff in the house.
So you became the man of the house on the low.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who taught you
But
that?
my mom was working. My mom did. My mom had the business mind.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that might have been part of my dad's issue because my mom made a lot more than him. And I know he had to know.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so.
That did a lot
but
to
I
him?
think a lot had to do with him not knowing his surroundings and stuff, So on either side, I didn't have, everybody was either a half or something. It wasn't no full uncle or aunt.
So do you know your full family or like?
Now his family, I know them now because they down around Augusta.
Okay.
So when I used to have to go to Augusta every year when I was part of the Methodist church, I always would go to their house one of those nights and eat supper and stuff. So they would have me over. So I
Got you.
know. But
so hearing your story, which is in some people's eyes like a triumphant one. Obstacles, definitely to me difficult time. People now can't live in those days.
mm-hmm.
Like I understand why God created people and they were born in certain times because you'd have been collapsed. Like that weight of go through the back door, just that alone, you can't take that. Like we can't take the simple rejection of you can't park there because it's a handicap.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We can't take that type of rejection. So my question to you, you fight so hard, and I've seen you. My years of being here, you fight so hard for those young men. I'll even go a step further to say that you fight hard for those who don't have a father in their life.
But that's the kicker. That's why. See, I understand what my calling is.
Yeah.
I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
What's your calling?
My calling is to work with men. For that very reason, because I know that I've been a father for a lot of young men that didn't have their fathers in their lives.
And have.
Yeah. So God made it clear to me what my call was. See? And when I was doing fatherhood at Columbus Tech, because, when I had accepted the call in 1999, the call to preach, not to pastor.
Got you.
To preach.
Mm-hmm.
When I accepted that call, that men's fatherhood program was my church. I was the pastor because I did what a pastor do. I took care of their needs.
Got you.
I ministered to them through doing workshops and teaching them the things that they need to know about jobs, how to keep a job, how to deal with your anger. See, I've been dealing with people's feelings and emotions for a long time.
Wow. Yeah.
Long time. And see, I know better now how to handle it than I did back then.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because what I think the thing I love about you, and I say love with such a passionate thing, is that for me, and I'm going to speak for me because I know I'm one of the men that you have saved from the same thing, the same sanity over and over. And you taught me literally, I would say, emotional intelligence. And I think mom asked me the other day, she was like, "Hey son, how are you doing?" And I said, I'm giving myself permission to feel. A lot of things in my life that hit me, and it's because of you. Like, you taught me. I remember our bereavement class that we had.
I never shall forget.
And to me, before that time, I had a tough time sleeping. I had a tough time just processing. And it was a lot of like unresolved things. And I think that the illustration I give to a lot of the young men that I now mentor and tell them that, listen, I just remember going through life. If you can picture a ball that is like where the tape is outside, and wherever you drag it is picking up everything on there. And I just remember picking up, I felt like whatever I was dragging, whatever I went through, dad dies, my grandma passed, like cousin shot in the head, losing my goddaughter at the age of 1, seeing her actually take her last breath. Literally seeing these different things, tragedies in my life, but still going throughout life as if it's normal.
Yeah.
But not dealing with that. You always tell me, son, you got to do it. But I remember in that bereavement class, literally breaking down, shattering just to be built up, to be even stronger. From there, I was able to sleep better. I was able to oh man, that was my turnaround.
Yeah, that was your turnaround.
I had to flush out all that gunk. And that taught me emotional, and okay, so it's okay for men to say, you know something, I don't know it all.
Yeah. And it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
Because, it's kind of like, I used to talk to the guys about crying and stuff. Well, I'm a man. I'm a man. Okay, you a man.
My
Okay.
wife does that too. Like,
Okay.
like when she cries, she's apologized. Like, I'm sorry for crying. We told her,
Yeah.
sorry for being
Stop
human.
Like, stop apologizing for that.
Jesus wept. So,
over Lazarus.
Like, how does that sound? Jesus apologized for crying. I'm sorry for weeping, y'all. I apologize.
Yeah. You can't apologize for that.
Yeah.
Because you have a right to express your feelings.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have a right to express your feelings any kind of way you want to.
Yeah.
That you don't have a right.
There are rules to the whole thing.
There's a rules to it.
Be angry,
but you have to get that out.
Gotcha.
Because it'll eat you up like a cancer. It'll literally destroy you.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, you couldn't eat, sleep.
That was terrible. It was terrible.
You're not getting enough rest. All of this stuff deteriorates your body, which messes with your whole body system. And
it messed with our marriage at that time too.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of the strings on our marriage.
You don't know this.
Yeah.
But that's why your wife kept talking to me. You need to talk to Mo. You need to talk to Mo. You need to talk to Mo.
It's a snitch in the house.
Well, she didn't say why, but she just said you need to talk to Mo. But when you started coming to the bereavement class,
yeah,
that's when the breakthrough happened.
Heavy.
I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry about all the snot on your shirt.
Hey,
too.
What I always say, don't worry about that. It can be washed.
Right. But I remember Liberty after that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was one of those things like,
and you
now
was emotionally tired because you had drained so much out.
Yeah.
That you've been holding all this time.
Now she get mad that I sleep better than her now.
Well, maybe she needs to come.
Go ahead and get that up
I
out
don't
of you.
normally deal with women like that, but maybe she needs to come and get something, you know, and then she can sleep. But that's a real thing, because
how important is that?
It's very important.
Let's talk about that.
Because men have not been given the permission
to
feel what they feel.
Yeah.
You got to be a man. You got to be strong. Says who? That's foolishness.
Yeah.
You go to your mama's funeral. You can't cry now. You got to be. That's ignorance. Or I'll cry at my mama's funeral, but I ain't gonna cry at my dad's funeral. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you're saying is your mother was more important than your dad.
Ooh.
That's what you're saying.
You're tapping in something.
And a lot of people have great fathers who was involved, but you gonna say, I'm gonna cry more about my mama than my daddy?
Yeah.
Because we think that's what's acceptable. See, that's what's acceptable. It's kind of like, how you gonna question your mama like that? She carries you for 9 months. Well, mama can be wrong too now. Mama ain't always right.
It's all kind of rules to the things you can do and things you can't do. And I think finding that out, okay, so that's not even a rule. You just made that up.
See, and I think what we should be doing is telling people what they can do.
Yeah.
If we tell people what they can do, we don't have to worry about telling them what they can't do. So, men, I'm telling you, you can feel what you feel.
Yeah.
You can cry, and it's gonna be okay.
Permission to cry. Yeah. Permission to feel.
Don't feel bad. That don't make you. If anything, it makes you more of a man.
Does. I remember a guy was talking. A lady came up. She was like, "What if I'm more?" I guess she was trying to say more hard or more manly than my husband or something like that. What did you do? And a guy respond. His response is so perfect. He says, if you find a man that's hardcore all the time, that will break him. And then if you want a man that's like that, watch how he will handle you if he has to be hardcore all the time. If he has to be so like, raw all the time. Understand what that would do to his emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
A man in that state is a dangerous man. Most of the men in that state are locked up or even dead.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the other thing, especially for men. When our boys, see, we'll love on them girls, but when our boys is little, we can hug them and dap them up and all that. But when they get 16, we think they don't need us no more. They need you more then than they did when they were small.
And do.
Because they're going through the same thing that you have experienced.
Fighting your same battles.
Somebody else at school or somewhere done told them, stop being a wimp. You acting like a punk. Just stop being a wimp.
Yeah.
No. You allowing your, I tell you what, it keep you healthy. You better let that stuff out.
That's right.
It keep you healthy.
It's a slow killer.
And that's why many of us have high blood pressure, diabetes, all of these things. Listen, it's like those pressure cookers my mom had. Putting that food in there and sealing it and canning it in those jars. But before she take that top off, she got to let some pressure out. And she can't let it all out at one time.
Got you.
You got to take it. It's a slow process.
That's fire. That's
so
a
if
fire
you don't
analogy.
get rid of some of that steam you got, you're going to blow.
Which 9 times out of 10, which is I'm going to say most people's problem. I was always taught, I think I went to therapy.
A lot of people.
A lot of people's problem.
Yeah.
I went to therapy and they were like, a lot of times when people act like that, it's just misplaced anger.
It is. It's displaced anger.
Displaced anger.
Yeah, displaced anger. Because you're angry about something else, but you're taking it out on somebody over here. Yeah. Yeah, that's
good
what
stuff.
you do. And you can't be doing that, you know. I just, you know, I urge men to just, you know, you can be a man and still allow yourself to feel what you feel.
Definitely.
I mean, listen, think about it. If we say we feel love for our wife or our significant other, and we can hug and all of that, what's the difference in sharing your feelings?
And I remember plenty of times what helped me through the journey of, to me, was finding out that it wasn't just me that was going through this whole thing.
That's important.
So I remember coming to your house, like you would have like a sea. Well, to me, it was a sea of guys. You know what I'm saying? We would just be in there.
Yeah.
And you would individually deal with us.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all like, and it will all stem literally dang near from the same thing. Mm-hmm. Different walks of life, different structures, but the same issues.
Yeah, same issue.
And all men standing in this kitchen, literally bawling, and finally dealing with their pain.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But that made me understand, okay, this is where the state of men, like our mindset, okay, we're willing to crash out until, it's a perfect plot by the enemy to get us to muzzle our feelings, to get us to muzzle our emotions, to basically just explode. It makes sense.
And to make you feel like you ain't being no man, you being a wimp.
That's some great stuff.
You know, I don't mind showing my emotions.
So
I just don't, because I'm of age now where I don't need all no high blood pressures. I just don't need that. You know, if I'm gonna die, just let me die now.
Peace,
not because I got something.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you cannot love your children the way you need to when you got all this pressure.
That you said a mouthful.
You can't.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna put all of that off on them. They're gonna frustrate you. They're gonna cause you to get upset. I mean, a lot of folk got kick the dog syndrome. They come home upset. First thing to do, kick the dog. No. We have to learn how to process stuff. And sometimes we need other people to help us to process.
Yeah.
Because there's so much stuff. I ain't gonna call it so much junk that we got in here from over the years.
True.
And we, every time something come up, every time somebody do something to you, we pack it down. And we keep packing it down. And we keep packing it down. Just somebody else do something, we keep packing it down. Instead of telling people how we feel in an appropriate way.
Right.
Listen, what you just said and how you said it, that offended me. I feel offended because of what you said. You taking responsibility for your feelings.
Yeah.
I feel frustrated by what you said. I feel upset.
Yeah, you told me that I feel statements.
Yeah, I feel statement, because that puts the responsibility on you. Then they can't say, well, I didn't mean, no, I'm talking about how I feel now, not what you said.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take responsibility for what you said to me.
Got you. Yeah.
So, and we got to deal with that, man. You know what I would love to do?
Talk to me.
I would love to have a group of men, no more than 8 to 10
Okay.
at a time,
Okay.
that we can circle up the wagon and help these men deal with their issues.
Let's do it.
No judgment zone.
Let's do it.
Ain't no judgment. All of us got issues.
Let's do it.
Done had issues. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm do like a preacher as we're closing.
Getting ready to close, man.
But if you're willing to do this, and this is if you want serious help, we want to be able to help you. We're going to create a video type ordeal where we'll have men come in to this is and you have to take this serious, because if you don't, then you'll be wasting your time and you won't be wasting ours, because we know what we're here to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is something that you're looking for, something like a group, because I know for me, I needed that surrounding of like-minded men to say, listen, this is what they showed you back then as far as being a Christian. You can do X, Y, and Z and still love God when God says, hey, sin stinks in his nostrils. We're going to create this group. It's going to be called, I'll let you know what it's going to be called. I don't want to put no name up there. But if you're interested, please comment below. And I will also be talking to other men who are interested in just basically getting on this video call. And we'll help you deal with it. 9 times out of 10, it'll start as a video call. And then we'll 9 times out of 10 get a building.
And we can do an in-person or we can do a virtual.
Yeah. We can actually do both if we have to. Yeah. If you can't make it, you like, I would love to be a part of it. Listen. And then like I do with all the men the young men that I mentor, I always talk about accountability. This is going to be that accountability group right here. You don't have to fight by yourself anymore.
And also, if you're one who cannot maintain confidentiality, see, this is one of the reasons why men don't share, because people want to go out and say what they said, but we try to maintain confidentiality, and what's said in the room stays in the room.
Yeah,
what's said on the video stays there. Not go out and talk about what you said.
Yeah,
not what somebody else said, because this is serious stuff. This is a matter of life and death, man.
Yeah.
And this is part of that ills of our lives, because you don't want to get to a point where you get so bogged down with all of these feelings and stuff.
Trust.
And a lot of folks are quitting their jobs and all this stuff. It's easy to get one, but it's difficult to keep one.
Yeah.
When you got a lot of anger and stuff built up.
Yes.
And some of us got a lot of stuff we've been carrying for a long time.
Yeah.
And you got to get rid of that stuff. I promise you, if you follow what we're telling you in the sessions and take the risk, because we're going to provide the safety for you.
Yeah.
We're going to keep you safe.
Because our concern is that you come up out of this and that you grow. Period, point blank. Mm-hmm. My thing is I want to see men liberated, free, and walking in their growth. Because that's me right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And how about this? If you want an individual with me and him, we'll do that.
Trust.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
So we want to thank you for joining this podcast. And if my man, like this is a permission.
Mm-hmm.
Permission to change.
Yeah.
Permission to be made over.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Mr. Mo.
And I'm Pops.
And you know, we're going to get good at this.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Living my best life.
I can't let it go by. I waited my whole life for a chance like this. It's getting, I know why. I waited my whole life for a chance like this. I can't let it